Hello friends, I got into the private beta or early access for Devil May Cry Peak of Combat, and I feel like I've covered this more than most people because I did play 1.0 pretty much for the entirety of its lifespan, so I don't really want to repeat myself here. I figure what I'd do with this opportunity is just talk about the changes that they made and maybe just some quick tips on how to get started. One of the things you'll notice here is they have this ideal lineup thing, and I've played a lot of games like this, and I can tell you this is actually really nice, because generally with niche action games and even popular gachas, a lot of times all the resources are going to be in an external source, meaning a wiki or a Discord, and this is something that the fighting game community deals with. It's like, it's cool to have people that are passionate that make content, and they're not doing it for money or fame, it's just from love of the game. But it's nice to have these resources in the game, so I'm gonna go ahead and look at some of these right now. Or even showing you the rotations. This is pretty next level. I was gonna record these, but what's the point if they just show it to you right here? Now, one thing I should mention about this game is a lot of people complain about the fact that it's more rotation-based than actual DMC. However, you do not have to do these. Sometimes, if you have something juggled, it can actually be better to not do the QTE. That way that you can keep them in the air or wait for a QTE to come off, cool down, and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and show a couple more of these. I actually think this is a really cool feature, because a lot of times to find stuff like this, you gotta go on a channel like this one, or some wiki, or Discord, and scour for clips and stuff. But they went they went up even further beyond. It's like, hey, here's how to play the characters, just in the game itself. This is something even fighting games are missing. So you might have your grievances with the changes they made to the combat, but this is definitely something that a lot of other gacha games could learn from. Just action games in general, really.
Just try to escape.
You could definitely play a lot faster than this, but for an in-game example, I mean, this is pretty damn awesome. This is the kind of stuff I tend to create, mostly because the games don't really give you these resources in the game itself. So in any case, I also kind of didn't really want to show all of these because I don't have everybody geared out. For the purpose of this test, I was given a bunch of gems, which is the gacha currency, to get as many characters as I could. So I pulled for everybody, and I got everyone but Navan Dante, also known as One Man Show. So I feel like instead of doing a bunch of that, which I feel like a lot of people are going to cover, and I also have covered in past betas, I thought I would just show some of the improvements they made. For one thing, they made it so that you can get legendary weapons from... I'm gonna find it in here, hold on. Yeah, you can get legendary weapons from here, so that's actually really nice. It makes the game less pay to win. However, I'm sure a lot of you are probably going to come from this from PGR. PGR is very similar to this game. I'd say the difference between this game and PGR, in terms of how the monetization works, is that the weapons and the dupe, passives that you get, they aren't anywhere near as game-changing. They're basically just more damage. So, of course, that's going to mean, in terms of ranking high, it's going to be like PGR, where your skill is only going to take you so far, right? If you want to be on the top of the leaderboards, you're going to be competing against people who have invested a lot of money into the game. So, if you care about that, then, you're probably better playing something that doesn't have, monetization like that. But this is a massive improvement. Being able to go in here and actually get a legendary or epic weapon is really awesome. The fact that you can get these, and these aren't like the best weapons in the game, but they're a tier below. The fact that you can get them for free is pretty nice, and I think a benefit over PGR is that they do not have like game-changing properties. One of the things about PGR is if you want to play a character optimally, you pretty much have to have their 6-star weapon, whereas here, it's basically just a stat stick. It does have some nice bonuses, like you look at this one here. You know, you get a damage buff of 8%, which is gonna add up, of course, but it's not completely game-changing. You don't absolutely need to have this. So the fact that they give you this for free is pretty nice. It means that you can play relatively competitively for free. They also added a co-op mode, which I haven't really tried yet, but, you know, this is a private beta, so I don't know how many people are really going to be on, but you do have the option to do that. I actually didn't get that far in the story, admittedly. I kind of figured, like, it wasn't worth going all the way through to the end, because I will be playing this game on the channel when it officially releases, but all this is going to get wiped, so all this beautiful stuff I have here that I didn't pay for is going to go bye-bye. I will get a little rebate from what I spent on the last open beta, but I think that this is kind of an overall improvement, so I'm going to go ahead and show some quick stuff here, show a little bit of how the game works in general. Let's go ahead and check the shop too, actually. So for spending money, these are actually worth it because you get pizza. Pizza is your stamina, kind of like in real life. Pizza is a IRL power-up, in my opinion. It's a staple food. These are actually worth buying, in my opinion. If you do want to spend money on the game, it will add up. You will have more stamina. Let's go ahead and take a look at these as well. I do feel these prices are a little too high, mostly because this is like not that many gems, really, for $50. I do think they need to tweak the prices a little bit more, but in my experience, these battle cards, or whatever you want to call them, the monthly cards, are worth buying just because they give you these over time. So if you buy these for a while, you'll definitely be guaranteed to get a new character in time, which I think is really nice. And then they also have a point store here, which I think is like a loyalty reward thing. You know how when you go to like Albertsons and stuff, they give you little rewards. This is actually pretty nice. I mean, it looks like you'd have to spend a ridiculous amount of money to get these, but the fact that they have any compensation at all is pretty cool. It's got a bunch of progressions, time savers here. See, I can't actually click on these, so I feel like anybody who wants to really detail the cash shop is kind of at a disadvantage right now, as you can't really look at it. Oh no, never mind, you can. Yeah, so you can get one of the purple hunters from here. The thing about this game is it doesn't have that many characters, so the characters that aren't S-ranks, they might not have as many moves, but they are still worth using, and I definitely think that's one thing I like. I'm sure as the game progresses, they'll probably get power creep like every other gacha, but right now, $10 for this is not bad, especially because you get a bunch of experience too, so you can pretty much get them decked out for your team right away. I do feel like these are too overpriced, but I'm sure in time they will optimize the prices. Some weapon skins as well. So let's go ahead and look at some of the... These are like the mega weapons that you can get. So this gives you 100 MP when you enter a battle, and it's only effective once per battle. And then this gives you just a straight damage increase. So they really are just stat sticks. I think that might be disappointing to some people, but compared to other games where they have like entire game mechanics and like moveset mechanics tied to the weapons, it's actually pretty nice that these are like, hey, if you really like the game and you really like this character, then you can spend or pull and try to get lucky for this weapon, but you're not missing out on a lot of like mechanical fun and death because, you know, you can't or don't want to do that. So I did get a couple here. Let's see, I've got his and his. In case you're wondering how this works, they have like specific banners. There will be a beginner banner that will arrive pretty much when the game launches, and generally, like in most gachas, you're going to want to focus on that first, because in the process of getting to the pity where you get your legendary, you actually will get most of the A ranks, the B ranks and A ranks as well. So it's going to be a good way to kind of flesh out your roster and then hopefully get the character you want. And then they'll have another banner in here. Let's go ahead and look at how the rates are. So you actually have like a 1% chance of getting any of these, even the ones that are off banner. So every 10 summons you get an Epic Hunter, meaning a purple. The legendary is guaranteed within 7 summons. So unfortunately, this game does have the I think the 50-50 pity, which is kind of whack. Let's see here. Yeah, it's got the 50-50 pity, but next time you're guaranteed to get it. I definitely wish that they had changed that, but I'm sure they'll get more than enough complaints about that in due time. And then you've also got the weapon selection here, so this works very similarly to how it works in PGR, where you can choose one to get, and then you have the same pity system. So kind of doing high-level stuff for this with like optimal equipment was actually kind of difficult because they didn't have all the banners up while I was playing this. So it ended up being, you know, just try to get what you can with the gems that I was given. And then you have this as well. This is the permanent vault, so you're probably not going to want to pull in this that much. You're going to want to save up for these characters. Like they have Devilbringer Nero here, and you're going to want to get him, obviously. You're going to want to focus on the main banners, but they do give you loot boxes here that are free. You'll get them from events and progressing through the story, and I guess later on they'll probably do like timed events where you can get them. So you can still get stuff from here, but you definitely do not want to focus on this. It's definitely a waste of money. So generally, I can't really show you this because I already went through it, but you're going to want to go through the beginner banner, and by that point, you should have a decent amount of the characters in the game, and then you'll get your S rank. And then from there, you can decide, you know, if you didn't get the one that you want, you can probably get one of these, and then try to build your team from there. And then if you go here, like you mentioned at the beginning of the video, they give you nice little videos of how to play the characters, which is actually really awesome. So, let's go ahead and show a little bit of Bloody Palace, just so there's some gameplay in this. I feel like I played this enough on this channel already. I've beaten this game multiple times, so I don't really feel like I need to show too much, but let's go ahead and show a little bit of how the rotations work.
Get out of here! Just try to escape. Here's a little something for you.
I actually think the best thing about this Bloody Palace is there's no transitions. There's only a transition like every 10 floors. It's actually really cool.
Pretty good fight.
You won't get away! Here's a little something for you.
So QTEs are very overpowered, but you don't always want to do them, in my opinion. Sometimes you might want to save it for when you actually need it. I do feel like the combat in this new version of the game is too QTE focused, but you don't always want to use it. It's not always the best answer.
Get out of here!
See, like right there it was, because there was a big group of enemies.
Get away! Here's a little something for you. Let's light it up!
Royal Guard!
Just try to escape!
Lights out!
Here's a little something for you.
Get out of here! Pretty good fight.
You won't get away!
I think one thing that's really awkward to adapt to is the fact that Nero's revving is on a different button. Unless you change it, of course. But yeah, there's a little bit of gameplay for you. I kind of wanted to do like a rotation for everybody, but I'm like, well, the game kind of just does it for you, right? I actually think that is a really great feature. So I do think this game still needs a long way to go. They need to add more moves, first and foremost. And maybe remove a lot of the QTE emphasis on how it just does so much damage. But at the same time, if you use a QTE, the cooldown drastically increases before you can switch again. Whereas, if you do actual combos, then you can strategically choose to save your QTE until an opportune moment. So there is some depth to it. It definitely is not as good as 1.0. I'm not going to pretend like it is, but I think in terms of a service game, they have made this game a lot better. They have the pity system now. Granted, it's like the Genshin Impact 50-50, which no one likes. They have the ability to get legendary weapons for free just by playing the game. They have the really nice lineup feature in here. Among other things, I actually think the game is a pretty big improvement. 1.0, the only good thing about it was the combat, and I feel like a lot of people obviously didn't have access to it. I played and spent a lot of money on the game on 1.0, which is why I was able to make all those videos that went viral, because most people did not do that. I can tell you, the only good thing about that game was the combat. It was completely devoid of content. They had no pity system in the game at all, outside of Virgil, among other things. It just was a bad service game. They did not really update the game in a timely manner, and I feel like that's why it died. However, on the Chinese version, there's only been one new character that's been added, and that is V. V was put into the game around the time of the official launch, and there hasn't been anyone since. So I hope that they'll keep a good cadence and good schedule of updates. I think that's going to be the main thing, and listening to feedback, because I can say from experience, PGR is a game I play that's very similar to this, and they had launched characters that weren't terribly interesting. They didn't have a lot of moves, and now they have like entire moveset and style switches and stuff on some characters. So I feel like they will get there at some point. Obviously they're going to make them the S-rank characters, meaning that you're going to have to pay money for them most likely, or save up a bunch. But I do have faith that they can turn this game around. You can definitely tell that they took the service game aspect of the game seriously, with having like more events and ways to earn things for free without spending money, without paying. And they give you a lot of really nice resources in the game as well, which I think is really cool. Let's watch one more of these before I go. I think I've pretty much said my piece here.
Here we go!
They got somebody who knew what they were doing to do this, and I think, if nothing else, it really shows the potential of this tag system. It's just, the characters feel really gutted because they don't have many moves. But, if they can get the movesets, you know, to a proper level where there's, you know, good size to them and everything, I think this game has a lot of potential. They definitely obviously are working with a lot of recycled assets from the original version of the game, but provided that this does well and they have a good cadence for updates, I definitely could see myself playing this for a while. So, in any case, thanks for watching. I don't really feel a need to show that much gameplay because I've already played the previous 2.0 betas on the channel extensively, and then I also have, like, probably the most content of 1.0 that's still available at this time. So, I don't feel like showing too much gameplay. I feel like this game actually gives you a lot of the resources you need in-game, and I'm sure the community will pick up the slack for anything that isn't, but having stuff like the lineup feature here is really awesome. I feel like a lot of these action games, even fighting games as well, they don't have those resources in the game itself, which is why people think that they're too hard to learn and they'd rather go play like Fortnite or something. I think if anything else can be taken away from this game is that they are taking, you know, the in-game information experience, the new player experience, very seriously. I can't even... PGR, which is much higher budget than this, does not have this at all. So, I think that this game has potential if it does get updated to the point where I feel like I'll add it to my daily arsenal, then I'll definitely let you guys know. Thanks for watching, thanks to Nebulajoy for this opportunity, and I'll see you guys when the full game releases.